tureke kuzajya twimukana ya mitekerereze twagiraga ngo nitugera hano dukomeze dutekereze kwako. Murakoze.
Integration mindset. Look, yeah, just.
Pastor Prosper just asked a question to Apostle, how people, refugees like ourselves, immigrants can change our mindset so that when we come to this Western world, our mind we can integrate by changing our mindset.
Undi nawe ndagira ngo kubisubiza rimwe. Thank you very much, Prosper. Another one,
Pastor Prosper.
Kwa Pastor Elia, watubwiye amagambo meza.
Elia. Okay.
Amagambo meza y'umuyobozi ko agomba kwifata muri iki gihe cy'ibibazo. Hari aho watubwiye umuyobozi abayoboye baje kukuregera bakubwira ibibazo 69. Mbese bakuretse yuko batamushaka iyo groupe y'abantu. Ndibaza ngo se niba atari ibanga, hari uburyo wabashije gukemura icyo kibazo cyangwa se kubahuza n'abariya guhuza uwo muyobozi n'abariya abantu kugira ngo ubashe kumumva, kuko hari igihe bariya nabo bashobora kuba bazanye ibibazo 69 babesha wa muyobozi kandi wanabivuze ubukeye. Kavuga ngo ese ibyo bintu hari uko wabikozeho, hari igisubizo cyabonetse kuri icyo kibazo cy'umuyobozi. Murakoze.
So he's asked the question about the decision the apostle gave about when people come to bring allegations against one of the local pastors, if the apostle was able to reconcile those two groups, the group that was accusing the pastor and those people and the pastor as well, if there was any action that was done afterwards to bring them together.
Okay. Diego?
Pastor Tito. Murakoze. Mazina nitwa Tito.
Tito?
Yego. Ndumva iki kibazo cha miliye cyangwa se environment wenda kuyihuza twakwiye ahantu kure. Tekereza kuba wenda akarere ka Bijombo niho urugo naje none ngafata umuntu wakuriye mu Bijombo akongera kandi akarererwa mu Bijombo akisanga nawe ahayarera Australia. Gerageza guhuza ibyo bintu bibiri kugira ngo ubwabwe warerewemo uburere twarerewemo hariya kutwigisha za ndangagaciro ukuntu zari zimeze kose nk'uko wari uvuye kubitubwira. Hanyuma noneho uza n'ubundi burere nabwo bwa social media, abana nibyo barimo ku ishuri iriya hari inyigisho zindi zirezire.
Singa kimwe Prosper yabajije.
I think the same, both questions are similar.
Yego kameza.
It's okay, keep going.
Okay, Prosper yabazaga ukuntu
nari bubisubize hamwe byose.
Yego. Numva nje cyane no guhuza. Ese uburezi bwaha
n'ubwiriya
umuntu
abigenda
kandi umuntu agumane za ndangagaciro ho zumvikana.
Yego.
Kishoboka gite? Murakoze.
So the question is similar to that of Pastor Prosper. It talks about one integration, also the values from African culture and the Australian culture. How can we marry the two or integrate the two? I think that's the question.
Yes, Sundi. tugire nkabi
A third person, so that we may start answering, answering the question.
murakoze cyane njye nitwa Claude Muco.
Claude.
Yes.
Okay, Claude.
Mfite ikibazo kigira ngo turashima Imana kukugira kandi uri umuntu w'umuhanga twumva kandi twemera kandi uva muri Afurika aho natwe dukomoka, muri kwa kuri wavuze muri za pourcentage rimwe na rimwe dukunda kugira ngo ibintu byacu, imico yacu, religion twigishijwe niko kuri gusa, bigasa nkaho religion twasanze hano n'amakanisa twasanze hano kandi twese ari yamani n'umubatizo umwe kwemera kumwe, tubifata nkaho aba bantu barayobye kandi twaraje tubasanga. Noneho rimwe na rimwe nkibaza nitwe tuyobye nibo bayobye, abafite ubuyobe n'abadafite ubuyobe ni abana. Noneho bigasa nkaho kwa kuri cyangwa se cya inyuma bishobora kuba twarigishijwe ariko twagize ukuri. Havuga ngo nkawe babizi ko ufite PhD muri theology, uva mu mico wenda tuvamo, hari ibyo umaze kubona ukuri n'ukutarukuraho ukuri watuyobora cyane cyane mu gukuraho bimwe twigishijwe ko ariko kuri kandi atari ukuri. Murakoze, sinzi ko byumvikana.
Byumvikana. Okay, yego.
Let me try to just tell me if I didn't get it correct. So that's my question about some beliefs that our people have about other churches who are predominantly white. They believe they don't have the right to sound doctrine, even though we have the same doctrine. And how can you, as a leader, help us to discern what is right or wrong, what is a lie or a truth? I think that's, thank you.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay, yakoze nitwa Lazar. Yes, Nazar.
Ikibazo mbaza ndashaka gusa n'icyo mwene data Claude avuye kubaza, batwigishije hejuru y'ukuri kugira ngo ikibazo isi ifite ni ukubura ukuri abayobozi batazi Imana. Si n'isi yonyine n'imiryango mugabo. Hanyuma rero ikurusa nyinshi zirarengewe kubera izo bintu, kandi aho tuja ni habi kubera kuko abantu bayobowe n'abantu batazi Imana. Ikibazo rero ashaka kubaza, kwaho dore tuja bigera hano n'amacace yose yacu kubera izo bintu bigiye bigenda biremerera abakristo, bigeraho abantu bazanja mu kibazo gikomeye cyane. Imana yemerera gute kuko abantu bayo baremererwa kuko isi yose igengwa n'Imana? Kuki ubwo buremere Imana ibubona igaceceka? Hakorwa iki kugira ngo noneho ukuri uzamuke kuri pourcentage nyinshi, kugira ngo noneho abakristo cyangwa ukuri kuganze ibinyoma mu isi? Murakoze.
Thank you.
I will try to summarize the question. The apostle taught us that one of the issues in the world today is the fact that we are led by leaders who are not strong or do not believe in God. Hence, the truth is in the minority. So what can be done so that the truth can become majority, especially in the church? I think that's summarizing what he said. Thank you.
Mu by'ukuri ibibazo presque byanyu byose umuntu yabisubiza muri kimwe kuko birenda gusa bifite aho bihuriye.
I think all the questions, 3 questions that were asked are all similar. So we just answer all of them in one answer.
Uretse icya Eliya,
Except the question of Pastor Eli.
naho ibindi bya Prospere, Pastor Tito, Claude, Lazaro, ndaza kubivugira hamwe gusa.
Except the question
Kandi
that
duhite
were,
turangiza ko dufite amateraniro.
that were asked by Pastor Eli. All the other 3 questions can be answered in one response. I think we have another question from Apostle Asa.
Nze gusubiza.
Thank you.
Murakoze cyane. kugira ngo uje kubisubiza rimwe numvise wari ugiye kurangiza kandi nabisabye. Ndi umwe mu bantu bazakunda kubaza kuko namenye ukuri bukeya kubitwerekeye. Rero ikibazo mbaza cyane by'abagabo b'abakristu n'abapasiteri babibajije, ariko reka mbaze hejuru y'abagore b'abakristu. Ndatekereza nje maze kwinjira muri Afurika haguruka 2004 numvishije ukuri k'ukuntu ubutumwa bwiza bukorana n'ubuzima busanzwe na politiki n'imisozi irindwi. Reka mvuge muri make, nari kongera ngo aho ugera hose wenda uragenda uhawe uyikora, ariko yivuga Imana iguheze umugisha. Rero ntavuga ngo ese ni gute mbona iriya aho dukomoka mu kuri, usibye wowe wagiriwe umugisha ukagirirwa papa wawe wahishuriwe, kuko turamuzi kuramuvuga tukumva kera twamubonye, ariko ntitwari tuzi ko afite iyo level n'iyo capacity ingana gutyo, kuko ababyeyi bacu bakuriye munsi y'ibirenge bye. Ariko icyo batubwiraga nimusenge, nimuze mu materaniro, nta kwigisha. N'ibyo bigishaga twumvaga turi muri ayo dukururana iyo mbwemu, ariko experience ufite ntitwari tuzi uyu munsi ko watangiriwe aho ngaho. Kandi mukuru, iyo uvuze umubyeyi uba uvuze umwana. Tunashimira n'igihugu cy'u Rwanda, Imana yaguhereyemo umugisha kugira ngo tugire iyo experience. Aka kanya nkavuga ngo ese ko mwigishije ibyo, ufite experience y'ababyeyi, ufite experience ya Holy Spirit, ufite experience yo kwiga, uri umudokiteri, ufite experience ya environnement, ahantu wagiye uba hatandukanye, iyo yose warize universite isanzwe. Ariko nkavuga ngo ese ko twavuye abo ngabo turaho kandi tukaba tuzi ukuri gusa kw'ipariti imwe, kandi none se twakora iki? Ngatekereza ko twabwirijwe injiri imwe, ariko ubu maze kumenya, mbona abagore bahagaze mu nzego zose, mbona natwe ikibazo dufite, kandi wenda uraza kukidusobanurira, ariko kandi unagitufashemo. Mbona twarabwirijwe ariko ntitwateguwe. Mwumva muri leadership y'abamama b'abakristu, urabona kenshi usanga nk'umupasiteri w'umugabo, umugore we ntanabireba, kumva ntibimureba, kandi ari we bafatikanyije muri ministry. Icyo rero cyaduteye urujiro, nkavuga ngo ese ko mwatubonye, muzi naho dukomoka, muzi naho twanyuze, muzi naho tugeze, ese ubu murabona tugeze tugeze nk'ubu, urabona nta mbere hanyuma, kandi abantu bakaguma hamwe, bakaguma bakazenguruka, turi around ko turazenguruka, tugafata tugafata, kandi by'umubyeyi atashoboye kumenya ntashobora no kubyigisha umwana. Ubu ngubu noneho tugeze, urabwira umwana w'umusore w'umuhungu akavuga ati na n'icyongereza ntugifite, ariko nasanze ijambo murifite, natwe mwodutegura tukaba ingabo zikomeye zishobora no kumanaginga ayo mago kugira ngo tubashe gutanga umusaruro wuzuye. Ndavuga ngo ese ko tubona tutarigishijwe byuzuye, ese mwebwe muratubona gute? Murakoze.
Quickly summarizing the question from Apostle Asa, she's saying that since she came to Africa Aguluka or Africa Rise Up in 2004, she was confronted with an amazing teaching that talked about the spheres of influence that changed her mindset and how she viewed herself. And she's asking if Apostle, when he's looking at the church or the people from Africa at the moment, there is a lack of teaching. Is there any progress that you see or what can be done for people to change their mindset and understand the full gospel that talks about not just the spiritual things, but other areas of influence according to the Bible?
Thank you very much. Urakoze cyane. Muracyafite ibindi?
Do you have more questions?
Any the now I want to finish once for all. Okay.
Let's give two more people a need and another person, and we'll be done with the questions. We have an revival meeting soon, so we should be able to finish soon as well.
yewe ntabwo ari ikibazo ikibazo n'icyifuzo. Mwavuze ko umugabo yashakaga umugore yabyara abakobwa, hanyuma abakobwa bigatuma ajya gushaka undi ko nta gaciro umwana w'umukobwa yari afite. Nubwo twize, nubwo twigishwa, ariko ntabwo agaciro k'umwana w'umukobwa ntabwo karahabwa imbaraga, nta nubwo basaza bacu baraturikodinayizinga ko dushobora kugira contribution twagira mu miryango tuvukamo cyangwa uruhande rwabo. None jyewe ntekereza kuza ndashima Imana ko ejo naravuze ngo Mana rwose ndasaba iki, ndavuga ngo Mana imbaraga ze. Eliya yahaye Joshua imbaraga ebyiri, ndavuga ngo nanjye ari imbaraga za kigabo mu muryango wa data. Kubera iki? Hari aho usanga inyigisho umaze kutwigisha ni ukuri jyewe mfite stop. Iyo usubiye inyuma ugiye gukora transformation mu miryango y'iwanyu uko tuvuka, ntabwo basaza bacu bakwemera. Niyo muvugana wumva yuko uri umukobwa warashyingiwe, bagize Imana wavomayo ntuveyo, kugira ngo batazasubiza inka cyangwa mutazagabana n'ubutaka cyangwa se mutazashwanira kuri hafi. Rero jyewe nkaba nisabira imbaraga za kigabo n'inyigisho tubaha. Niyo dusubiye twavuga ibi byakorwa bite, ntabwo batwemera. Rero ejo waravuze tugeze hano wigisha, naravuze ngo Imana ishimwe bamerekeje. Najyaga ninjira muri Zion bavuga ngo Mana avuge ku byanjye, nanjye ndashimira Imana ko n'uyu munsi wavuze ku byanjye, muzabiraga imbaraga, hanyuma urangije uravuga ngo turazihawe. Ariko noneho amavuta nari nayaguze nyasiga mu rugo rye n'umugabo ngo ntabwo twayazana. Iyo yasabye uyu munsi nayazana. Akoze usige wemerwe mu miryango, gutekereza abadata bakabaye baratubwiye ahanini cyane. Niyo mpamvu mwemera, ni kubera ko wemera papa wawe. Nanjye nakundaga papa. Iyo amavuta ye nyavoma, aya papa wawe nyakuvoma. Iyo ukwigishije urafata, nkagenda mpagaze nk'uko naba n'umushiki wawe mpagaze mu rugo rwa data. Rero mwumva izo mbaraga, ariko ntabwo zikora. Kubera iki? Kubera ukuntu basaza bacu batubona. Ariko nundambikaho ikiganza n'amavuta yanjye, nzi ko ndikugenda ngana umushiki wawe.
So I needed asking that she has received a lot of teachings from apostles that have transformed her mindset. But when she goes back home to apply the teachings, she is not accepted, especially by males in the family. So she asked the apostle to pray for her, anoint her so that she might have authority and influence in her family, especially over other people, to apply the teachings and change her family.
ndabizi ko muri Amerika watangije retreat imbaraga abasore sinzamimenya, ufite uburyo uri kurera abantu. Noneho kubera niba Imana yagiye dutatanya, noneho kandi hakaba hariho lack of role model, mentorship. Kandi icyo kintu noneho kuruzi nk'abantu bavukiye muri Kongo nishaka gukoresha iyo bantu bamara bakisanga muri bino bihugu. Uri umuntu wize, ufite inararibonye, ufite n'ubumenyi bw'umwuka wera. Kandi ni gute abasore batuye muri bino bihugu twebwe ubwacu twakwaporoshinga nimba ni gute twa benefisi nakuga kuri iyo mpano wahawe? Ikindi, hari ukuntu ubwa mbere nakumvise mu minengo uhagera warabuze ngo hari ukuntu abantu nk'abakobwa bacu ugasanga bafite ubwiza baje hano hanze baje guhatanira igikombe cyacu mu minsi, ariko noneho bitewe na background y'uko umwana wacu naje hanze akaja mu by'isi yamara noneho yuka akomeye naryo kubera bwa bwiza bwe akabukoresha akagira icyo yomarira umuryango, kuko brande y'ifoto yiwe yakorwa ku makampani ku biki akagira icyo yokungura ari umuryango abantu bagaterera. Hari ukuntu bavuga ngo ubu nyine ikanisa aho rigeze ubutunzi ko buragaruka mu ikanisa. Ese ni gute twebwe bantu baje natwe twakwitegura nk'abasore ndetse noneho hari n'ikindi kandi wabuze ngo umuntu arategura gutegurwa naje kubona hano mu bihugu kuvuga ngo umuntu azobe umuntu ukomeye usangwa barateguye abana bagenda batorwa mu dukrebe dutoya bakagenda bategura. Ese natwe nk'abantu b'abakuyakuya niko navuga ni gute twakwinjira muri izo bintu niye strategy we wakoresha urakora?
He's asking about how they can benefit from the mentorship program that Apostle started back in America that can help young people to learn from him, especially those young people who have immigrated to Australia, how they can benefit from that. And he remembered a teaching that you gave back in Minembwe a long time ago, where you said that some young girls who are beautiful can actually go into the pageant competition and become Miss Africa or Miss World, cannot go there even though if they are successful, they can be influential and change things. So how can you have that grassroots training for young people, immigrants, so that they can reach their potential here in Australia?
Thank you. Rakoze undi.
That's the last question. There are other people.
Yes.
Go straight to the point, please.
Nitwa Desire, ikibazo cyanjye ni kuri politiki. Nda politiki cyane. Zino ntambara zombi media iri kuvuga cyane. Mu Rusiya na Ukraine, mainstream media itubwira ko Russia ariyo the aggressor. Aggressors nibo aribo bayazana, nibo bashaka kuzana intambara ku Rusiya. Ariko noneho independent media outlets zimwe zikatubwira ko Boris Johnson yagiye amasezerano bituma iriya ntambara y'ubu. Boris Johnson uriya wari ministre w'ubwongereza, Boris Johnson. So maybe the question shall be Boris Johnson w'umwongereza. Boris Johnson ni wari former prime minister w'ubwongereza yeye. Wari watumye intambara y'ubu. Ngo niwe wagiye akagira amasezerano ubusa bw'abafite na Ukraine ngo intambara itayubura. So ikibazo cyanjye rero ni mainstream media na independent media outlets batubwira sometimes ibintu bitandukanye bitewe n'iya propaganda batubwira. Icyanyuma kuri ikibazo cya Israel na Gaza batubwira ko ngo nyuma ya 1948 ngo buriya butaka ngo bwari bw'Abapalestinians ngo niyo mpamvu ibibazo bihari kuko ngo Israel ngo ni occupied force. So ibi bintu batubwira what's that to believe?
Ikibazo cyawe ni ikihe?
What is your question?
Uvuge media ukuri cyangwa utavuga ukuri?
Cyane. Yes, uvuge media itubwira ushobora kumva ariko
umvisha ukuri navuze ko kungana ku isi.
Do you remember what I told you about the percentage of the truth in the world?
Urashaka kumubwira ukuri kwa vrai?
Do you want me to tell you the full truth, not just what is in the media?
There you go.
You want to know the real truth, not what you hear in mainstream media. Is that the question? Yes.
Donc kubijyanye Ukraine na Rusiya nibijyanye na Israel na Gaza. Wigeze ukurikira inyigisho zanjye navuze ku miryango ibiri y'abaframaso mu Bwongereza no mu Rusiya. Aho niho hari intambara imiryango y'abaframaso.
Have you followed my teachings?
Iyo niyo verite ni imiryango ibiri y'abafrere amaloge y'abaframaso y'Ubwongereza, imwe yari Oxida n'indi yo mu Burusiya, bamaze kwica Empereur Kazar icyo iyo miryango barayitsemze. Uyu munsi rero umuryango wari warakwiswe abaframaso n'ushaka kugaruka. En fait ibyo nibyo biri realite spirituelle apana by'ibintu. So niyo mpamvu nababwiye ngo dutegere iki cy'Imana yakora, dushaka Imana kuko izi ntambara ni iz'umwuka. Nayo intambara ya za Siri n'ibindi biranditswe ngo bose bazahaguruka barwanye Israel, ngo Israeli bizaba igikombe kidandabiranya muri Zakariya, donc nivyo bihe turimo, ariko Imana izayitabara. Izo nizo realite, nawe ibindi byose ntabwo. Nuko nsubije vuba gusa kugira ngo ajyase kumenya ukuri. Je sinza nyifia kuri izi, kuko umusozi wa media uri corrupted.
So I'm going to quickly respond to that question because it's very important. I've actually given a full teaching. It's online. You can go and listen to that. What I taught about the underlying reason or cause of the war. It's actually two Freemason lodges, one in the west and another one in the east. Back in 1918, they killed the Tsar or the king of Russia, and now after that, the underlying cause of the conflict, there are two Freemason lodges fighting each other. That's the underlying truth. What's your name?
Desire. Okay, Desire. Ikibazo cyawe nacyumvishe.
I heard your question, Desire.
Narabyigishije kenshi.
I've got full teachings online.
Donc mujye mukurikira isaha y'agaciro n'izindi nyigisho ngiye kubivuga, donc realite ibiriho ndabivuga, ariko realite biri behind isi tavuga.
Follow my teaching.
Ko turarwana n'imbaraga zibiri z'abaframaso.
Follow my teaching. When I talked about it extensively. We are on the surface, there the world that you see, but underneath it, there are two Freemason lodges fighting each other. That's the real truth. Freemason Lodge, one from Great Britain. That's why Boris Johnson went to Ukraine, because he's part of that Freemason Lodge.
I didn't say that.
Sorry, let me retract. I was just asking a question. Why do you think he went to Ukraine?
Okay. I didn't say that he's a Mason.
Oh yeah, I didn't say that. I retract that. Was incorrect understanding. I'm just asking a question. Why did he go to Ukraine at that particular time?
Just a second. Hari document mfite, okay. Reka tukomeze.
Mwakoze, nitwa Boni. Twagize umugisha ni ukuri yo kubagira uyu munsi wa none. Ni bidasanzwe. Njyewe nagiye mba muri Afurika haguruka nyinshi mu Rwanda. Nagiye mbategera kenshi ku ma social media. Mu by'ukuri mufite ubumenyi bwinshi ku bintu bitandukanye. Rero muri uwo mugisha twagize natekereje ko ari cyo mushobora kutumarira ku bijyanye na mentorship ayikozeho. Twe twagize amahirwe yo kuza muri iki gihugu turi bakuru dufite ubumenyi bw'ibanze haba mu ijambo ry'Imana ndetse na culture yacu cyangwa mu bihugu duturukamo. Uyu munsi wa none dufite urubyiruko abavukiye hano ndetse n'abaje ari bato. Abo bantu bafite ikibazo gikomeye cya mentorship. Umwana aribaza ibibazo byinshi cyane mu buzima, ariko ntabona aho ashobora kubona ibisubizo, ntabona uwamufasha, uwamugayidinga, uwamugeza ku bisubizo. Kandi mu by'ukuri ntabwo twahora tubabona buri gihe cyangwa uko tubikeneye. Sinzi ndagira ngo mutugire inama, kuko ni ikintu kirambye, ni ikintu cy'igihe kirekire. Abana barakurira hano ari benshi, hari ibyo tubabwira, hari n'ibyo biga mu mashuri cyangwa babona mu buzima bwa buri munsi. Ibyo bikababera urujijo, bagahera hagati, bagakenera umuntu wabafasha kubakura muri urwo rujijo, kubabera umumenta mu buzima bwabo. Mwadufasha ubujyanama kugira ngo tubone ibisubizo. Mwakoze.
So, Bonnie just asked a question about the issues the young people who are growing up here in Australia, an issue of mentorship, an issue of getting the right role models. He's saying that he's been able to attend Africa Rise many times, and he's been able to follow the teachings of Apostle Gitwaza. So he's asking what can be done for the young people here, for anyone raising kids here to benefit and get those role models or the mentorship needed for people to be that they need at the moment.
Yes. Andy?
Papa, clearly.
Oh my gosh. Umva, mureke mane subiza ibi.
Let me ask.
Mumbabarire.
Let me first answer the question.
Keretse twimutse tukimura na conference tukibera muri ibi bibazo.
Let me first answer all the questions.
N'amasomo manini. Gusa icyo ndi bukore ndabikombina hamwe kuko nibyo mbona abajije byose ndabishyira muri ni presque imwe.
I'm going to combine my answer and touch on all the questions for the sake of time.
Reka mane subize ku cya Eliya.
Let me answer the question that Pastor I'm going to combine the question from Pastor Prosper and Tito and Claude together.
Kubimanvu audience atari pastorale ndasubiza mu buryo butari deep.
Because this is not a pastor seminar, I won't be able to go deep in answer to Pastor Eli's questions. I will just talk briefly. I won't be able to go into detail. In the 69 questions that they asked, the number one was, there was none of the issues that raised, none of them related to a moral failure or sin. What was those issues? He's not disciplined. He's not disciplined. He doesn't know how to talk when he's on the stage. He's unable to put together a report. All those issues. Has he drunk alcohol? Has he sinned? Has he done any other moral failures? As a leader, I am comforted when my pastor or a lead is not found to have any moral failure. All the other problems, it can be taught and solved. All those other issues which are not moral failures can be easily addressed by teaching and upskilling the pastor. The other thing I do is to create a support network around the pastor so that people can step in the areas where he is not skilled. That's what I should have done or was about to do, but this is what they say. What I was against, because I was against the fact that they came with a solution saying you have to remove him. Because when they said that, they were not respecting me who appointed him. The number one issue they had is that they came already with a preconceived answer that I should remove him. This is what I saw. They didn't love their pastor. And I thought that were just personal issues. But when someone is coming, they say, oh, Patrick is a good person, but he doesn't have a vision. If you can help him, you can upskill him and train him. This is a constructive criticism. But if someone is coming, bring up issues without providing any solution, you find out that really they have personal issues because they're not being constructive when they're raising issues. After you listen to those people, after I listened to them, this is what I did. I was with another pastor that I work with. I took a chair, yes.
nyishira hagati twari twicaye muri circle
We were sitting in a circle,
nyishira hagati na
and I took a chair in the circle.
ndavuga nta kibazo
And I said, okay, that's no problem.
umwe muri mwe niyicara yari amusimbure ndagusengera ubundi
Okay, one of you can nominate themselves to sit in the middle, and I'm going to pray for appoint that person, and then we replace him.
narababwiye ngiyi intebe
This is the chair in the middle.
umwe muri mwebwe nayi
One of you can nominate themselves and sit there.
kuko sinirukana umuntu ngo habure umusimbura
Because I cannot remove him unless I have another one who's going to replace him.
ndategereje iminota 5
And I said, I'm waiting for 5 minutes.
ntibaza
For 5 minutes, no one could nominate himself.
ndabongera indi 5
And I gave them more further minutes.
nkomeza kuganira n'ujya mugenzi
I
wanjye
kept talking to my other pastor
gahunda twari dufite
about the program we had.
sanga yantebe ndiyicaraho
And I found that the chair remained empty.
ndababwira oke mbahaye indi 5
And I said, I give you another 5 minutes.
nkomeza kuganira na mugenzi
I
wanjye
kept talking to my other pastor.
ndavuga byenda reka twigireyo muje
And I
kumutima
said, maybe let's go outside.
fashe mugenzi wanjye
And I took the other
tugiye
pastor.
guhagarara mu nguni hari
We went in the corner somewhere.
ndagarutse
And I came back.
ndababwira nawe uricaye
Have you not decided who's going to
umwe
replace
ahita
him?
ahaguruka araza arahicara
And one just came straight away inside.
bwira mugenzi wawe tumukomere
And let's clap for, our hand for that pastor.
tumukomere
And
amashyi
then, when we clap our hands,
bagenzi be ngo ya ngo wowe
they said, no, you cannot be a pastor.
ngo vaho vaho
Get out of
bongeye
the chair.
batangira kurwana
They started to fight among themselves.
mwaje kumwira mu nkuru w'umushumba
You told me to remove the pastor.
none umusimbura araje
And the one to replace him just nominated himself.
nguyu no
This person cannot be a pastor.
ngo vaho vaho
Get
kuricara
out of the chair.
wowe
You
wowe
cannot be a
tubera pasiteri wowe
pastor. You cannot be our pastor. They fought among themselves.
none mwe mwazanye ikibazo nta gisubizo
So you came with an issue without a solution.
ikikwereka ko umuntu aba afite ubugome atari umwuka w'imana na akuzanira ikibazo adafite igisubizo
If someone is bringing issues, and if you want to see their true character, they bring issues without solutions.
kuko baba bari mu byo bita tura tugabane n'iwanga bimeneke byose bishira ibibazo bishambuka donc twese
They are
tubisenge
into divide and conquer. They don't care to destroy what is there.
ndakomeza ndavuga ati no mumureke
And I said, okay, let him stay there.
bwiye mugenzi wanjye
And I asked the other pastor,
fungura kompiyuta ukore certificate
open the computer and start to put together the
undi ava
certificate
hariya ari
of what
amukura
they
ngo avaho ntasongeye
One of them just run to the middle and put him out of the chair.
urangurira we
Why are you removing me?
yega imana iranyibutse di
Oh, God just answered me. I'm going to be a pastor.
yibwibukira aha
God is not going to answer you here.
bonyine bararwanya
They fought among themselves.
antreni abo mwabaha ubushumba
Can you give, appoint them as a pastor, those people?
narababwiye mwebwe rero
And I told them, guys,
mwe mwaje muri bane
you were four.
munaniwe no kumvikana
You
umushumbura
cannot agree who can be a pastor among yourselves.
mureke tugumishe uwo muntu
Let's then keep the pastor that is there.
ngo niba hagumye twe turagenda
And they said, if you keep him, we are going to leave the church.
ndababwira okay
And I said,
bandikira urwandiko rwo kudemisiyona uzibakorere hanyuma bampe ndazisinya niko namubwiye mugenzi
and I said, okay, fine, I'll take your decision. And I asked my other pastor to write a resignation letters for all of them, and I would sign
umwe
them.
ngo nango je ntaho ngenda
And I said, no, I'm not going, I'm staying.
mwebwe muragira ngo ngire
What do you want?
mu bibazo morale
There was no more failures among the issues they raised.
icyaje kuba
So this is what happened.
mu by'ukuri ibibazo byarimo
There were issues of skills.
nuko bamwe bari barize kurusha pastor
Some of them were educated more than the pastor.
bakumva ariwe bababasha
So they had a complex of superiority.
bakumva yava
They were educated more than the pastor, and because of the complex of superiority, they wanted to
ariko
remove him.
ikibambe nanone uwo wize bashaka
But they didn't want to give me a name of a person who is educated to become a
oya
pastor.
ngo genda utuzanire umuntu ikigali aze hano
They said, no, we want someone from Kigali to be appointed a pastor here.
yababwira ngo
And I told them,
aburahamu yabwiye nyamutunzi
Abraham told,
wa mugabo w'umutunzi the rich man
the rich man, yes, the rich man.
ngo nubwo uwapfuye yazuka ntibemera ngo nibumvire bamusa n'abahamya
Abraham told them, if the rich man, that if someone can be resurrected, the people you left above won't believe.
nubwo nabazanira uvuye i kigali
Even if I bring someone from Kigali,
nawe muzamutoramo
you are not going to respect him, you will do the same.
abantu basenze ngo nagiye Dallas nagezeyo abariho bava mu rusengero.
Those people who wanted me to go to Dallas are the ones who left the church after I went to Dallas.
Pastor Claudine, sibyo?
Pastor Claudine, is that true?
Papa, papa, narahageze ngo je ndi umusore.
So, and those people who prayed for me to go to Dallas, when I go there, they basically left the church.
Anyway, icyo mvugiye,
Why am I saying this?
wa mugabo
That person,
yagumye ari pastor.
or that pastor remained a pastor.
Bikakubwira.
Let me tell you,
Barya baragiye.
the four accusers left.
Umwe yarasigaye.
Only one left.
Ujya wavuze ngo ntaho aza.
Only one left.
Baragenda batangira urusengero.
They went and started another church.
Nyuma y'ukwezi
After 1 month,
babiri bararusohoka.
2 of them left the new church.
Bajya gutangira urundi.
They started another church as well.
Buke baratandukana nabo.
Even themselves, they were divided.
Zarashize.
All those churches are no longer functioning. Today, as I speak to you,
Abagore b'abarya babiri baragarutse n'abana babo.
so the wives of one of the 2 people who left the church came back to the church with their
Abagabo
kids.
baza gusiyo nagiyeyo.
Those husbands only go to the church when I'm there. For a conference. This is what happened.
Ariko wa mushumba
But that pastor,
yarakomeje mu rusengero.
he continued leading the church.
Ushobora kuba ari mu nsengero nka zide zikomeye ubu.
I think his church that he leads is one of the 4 strong churches we have in that
Kandi
area.
itangaje.
This is what is amazing.
Kuko anatuye navuga ko no mu cyaro abantu benshi bakunze kuza mu mujyi abaza bakomeye mu rusengero nabo bavuye aho baje gushaka utuzi mu mujyi nabo bavuye muri uru rusengero.
So because his church is from on the countryside, most of the parishioners come to the city from that church.
Ariko ntibyavuze ko ntamenye muri zo bambaye Eliyaze agomba gufashwamo. Namenye ama Elias menya uko tugomba kumufasha no kumushyigikira mu buryo twamubaye hafi cyane kugira ngo
So it taught me to look at the issues they raised so that I may identify how I can support him, and I was able to support him, and he was able to succeed
iyo
as a result.
usanga rero mu cyaha
If I had found that there was a moral failure,
mba narawuhereje timu ya investigation
I would have sent our investigation team.
bakagira dufite komite y'abashumba bashinzwe discipline.
We have a committee of pastors who are in charge of church discipline.
baba baramanutse bakagira icyumweru aho bagenda baganiriza abantu batandukanye.
I would have sent them to that local church to do a proper investigation about those moral failures.
barangiza
And after that,
tukohereza iyindi timu ya kabiri
I would have sent a second team
ya apostolic center donc y'ako gace
from the Apostolic Center
nabo bakajya gukora ripoti ya
in charge of that area so that they may do their own investigation and report
kabafite
to me.
raporo y'akanama inke murapaka n'akandi ka gatatu
Church discipline.
ako na ka church discipline n'akandi ka apostolic center.
In the end, I would have received 2 reports, one from the church discipline committee, another one from the apostolic team. 2
iyo usanga
reports.
rero ari ibibazo by'amakonfli
If I could have found they were just interpersonal conflict,
nohereza akikemura mpaka ka gatatu.
I would have sent a 3rd committee to
Icyo gihe
solve
mba
those
narakora ikintu.
interpersonal conflicts.
mba ntarakora ikintu.
And after that, this is one of the steps that I do before I get involved.
nuko ko njyewe njya kuza nyuma y'abariya bose.
Because I make a decision after all those steps have been followed. That's where I get involved.
reka mvuge rero noneho basanze koko ari imyitwarire bafite.
If they have found that there were moral failures and it was proven,
zombi aka apostolic center ndetse n'aka discipline bagasanga ari mu makosa.
if the church discipline report and the apostolic report would have found that he sinned or there were credible moral failures,
icyo nkora ni iki rero,
this is what I would have done.
genda muhamagara
I would have called that pastor,
twembi nawe
2 of us.
kamubaza ukuri.
I would ask him to respond to the allegation.
hari abemera
Some of them are humble enough to accept their
hari
mistakes,
n'abahakana.
and others refuse.
muri ibyo byose
In all of those things,
iyo barya abantu bombi bagiye banje ya makomite abiri yazanye ibisa
once the 2
cyangwa se
reports,
zena gusa,
the 2 committees have got similar conclusions,
dore icyo mubwira.
this is what I tell him.
ndamubwira rero birashoboka ko bakubeshye nk'uko wabivuze.
I tell the people who refuse to accept the findings and say, maybe the two reports are lying and not telling the truth. Maybe. That's okay.
ndagusaba
I'm asking you
ndakwimura
to remove you.
ndakwimura just
To
transfer
transfer, yes, thank you.
ndakwimura uze kuri paruwasi nkuru.
What I do, I will ask them that I can transfer that person to come to the main parish.
Nzabana nawe amezi atandatu.
And I spent 6 months with that person.
Ndakuba 9
months.
Ikindi gitesta abantu ni igihe, time.
And also time is what can test people.
Akenshi kunda kuba iyo ndi mu bihugu biri accessible kujyana nabo naba ndi kuri hoteli nkabana nabo tukajyana hose.
I spend time with them whenever I can to test them, and time tests people.
Iyo umuntu afite akageso ntikihisha ukwezi.
Let me tell you, if someone has got an issue, you don't spend 1 month without seeing.
Udutelefone akabanza agasohoka mu cyumba muri kumwe mwembi utangira gukweshoninga. Iyo agarutse bitamubwira ngo nyereke iyo nimero.
Time will show the people who they are. So when you see people taking phone calls, they're hiding. I say, give me my phone. I say, who's calling you? It's okay. They may say, oh, it's no one. It's a friend of mine. That's fine. Let me I want to see who's calling them.
Anyway,
this is. I just wanted to tell you how we do things. When we are unable to transfer the pastor, but they found to have had moral failures, we remove them, but we really counsel them afterwards. We do a proper counseling restoration session with him until they are fully restored. And after that, once they've been restored, we're able to communicate that to the church, to the church members. This is how we do it. So I tested them after they gave me a list of allegations by asking them to nominate themselves to be a pastor, but I found that they were not ready and the allegations were not founded. And I had already screened all the issues, and I found that there were not moral issues. If it's a spiritual issue, if there are moral issues, I can't allow someone with moral issues to leave the church.
Family imwe yagize gutya umwana wabo aje ntiyamubatiza ariko abatiza uwamushikiwe donc bene biri yani narukundo kandi nawe umubaje akubwira impamvu yabatije uwamushikiwe akari kuriya hari ubwo akubwira ati umwana twahuye n'abavuye muri hoteli n'umuhungu baramuzana ngo mubatize manza kuba ntegereje gatoya donc nukuri kubiba byaragiye.
So some issues are not really significant. Some people can complain that the pastor has baptized that person, not the other person. But if you ask the pastor, they will tell you reasons as to why they were not able to baptize a particular person. Maybe they found them being involved in sin. That's why they could not baptize them. So there are no significant issues. The other questions that were similar. When we immigrate to this country from Africa, with our own values of culture, our own way of worshiping the Lord, our own way of educating our kids, how can our kids continue to follow God? How can they keep their own culture whilst in a new culture?
Donc, intégration.
This is a question of real integration. There's also a generational clash between the older generation and the young generation when they migrate to Western countries. Let me just go back a little bit. I'll give an example using myself. When I turned 18, my dad called me. And he said, now, I've lived with you for up until now.
igihe kirageze ngo ugende kuri university.
It is time for you to go to university.
Sinzaba ndi kumwe nawe.
I'm not going to be with you.
Genda.
Go.
Amba ukuboko.
I give him a hand.
Twari tugeze nawe i Bukavu, yaramperekeje ngeze i Bukavu.
He accompanied me up to Bukavu.
Turamanukana.
We went together.
Duca mu Rubirizi, ahitwa Rubirizi.
We went to Rubirizi.
Turara kwa data wacu.
We stayed at our uncle's place.
Turagenda tugera i Bukavu.
And we went up to Bukavu.
Arangije arandeba.
He looked at me.
Aravuga ngo narakureze uko nshoboye.
I raised you up to, my capacity.
None rero.
Now,
genda.
Go.
Uzarye icyo ushaka cyose.
Eat whatever you want.
Uzanywe icyo ushaka cyose.
Drink whatever you want.
Ikintu wumva nakwimye uburenganzira we wakinga
that you could not get because of me, just get it you want.
Yarambwiye ngo,
and he told me,
ikintu cyose uzifuza muri wowe,
anything that you would desire in you,
genda uzakirya.
Go and get it.
Genda uzagikora.
Go and do it.
Imana iguhe.
May God bless you.
Bye.
Bye. That's what he told me. And we departed each other. We parted ways.
Ngize ibyumweru bike kuri university.
After 2 weeks at university,
mu cyumba
in my dorm room,
twari abasore benshi bavuye mu misozi.
There were many people from the mountains as me.
Kuva hitwa Rurambo,
from Rurambo area, Gatanga area,
Bijombo,
and the Bijombo area.
Kandi abo bose,
and all those young people,
base bari abarevera pastor.
Their fathers were reverend pastors.
Bari bayoboye amaparuwasi.
They were leading parishes.
Twese abo twari kumwe mu cyumba majority.
In our dorm room, the majority of the young people
twari abana ba pastor.
Were sons of pastors.
Ba data bari baziranye hafi.
Our fathers knew each other.
Barambwira.
And they told me.
Ngo noneho hano nta data baba.
And now our fathers are not around.
Kandi hano kunywa inzoga.
And here to drink alcohol.
Ni free nta kibazo.
It's acceptable. It's okay.
Ikindi.
Another thing.
Ku bakobwa hano.
Having big friends.
Kibagoye kiwacu nibo baguhamagara.
Girls here really call you to be involved in them.
Ati none witegure kuwa gatanu ejo.
So get ready Friday night.
Tuzaza kukwereka ibyiza twabonye twari twarabuzima.
We're going to show you the good things that we could not get back home.
Bavandi.
Let me tell you, brothers and sisters.
Numvishe kisese.
I feel like a vomit.
Barambye ati turagenda.
Like, be ready, we're going to party on Friday.
I
said, no, I can't go.
And
they went.
Baragaruka mu bicu.
And they came back.
Bavuga buri muntu ibyo yakoze.
They came back at midnight.
Basubiyemo amahistoire.
What they had done.
Abasore.
The young people.
Umwe arandeba.
One of them told me.
Badata barabanye cyane.
His father was a close friend to my father.
Arangana na mushiki wanjye kurikira.
He's the same age as my younger sister. And he told me, I cannot lead you astray. We are brothers. Go and taste good things out there. One of them told me, it's really sad that you're going to go to heaven without tasting all those good things the world can offer. They kept repeating all the bad things they had done. I could not do it. What I felt in me, I felt a burden to preach the gospel. I was able to preach and get one of the pastors' sons. I took him with me. We went to pray together. That's when I started ministering in Kisangani. I never desired to have a girlfriend. I was 18. I never desired to have alcohol.
Abakobwa bamfatiye muri campus barampamagaye b'abanyekongo babiri moze kubasura twariganaga bageze sanga bafunze imiryango bambaye ubusa ngo uyu munsi turaryamana nahakuwe n'amavi ndapfuka mvuga mu ndimi bagira ubwoba barakingura ndasohoka.
One incident happened that two Congolese girls actually wanted to have sex with me. They invited me to their room and I found they were naked, and they said they're going to force me to have sex with them. What saved me is the fact that I knelt down and started to speak in tongues. They got afraid, and they opened the door, and I fled.
nagize igihe ndwara malaria kubera ikisangani n'ahantu hari umubu na malaria ndarwara. Iyo periode siniga hakaba hari umukobwa w'umunyabwenge cyane twabanaga arambetse ko wabuze ngo ko narwaye uzaze kwereka amanote ibyo twize njyayo muri chambre y'abakobwa ngira ngo ngiye mu manote.
The reason why I went to that dorm room of those girls is because I had been sick for a couple of weeks with malaria, and then one of the girls who was in that dorm room, who was very intelligent, asked me to come to share notes together. I thought I was going to go and share notes, but they had another plan. I didn't know they designed me or they attracted them. From that time in 1989, what my father instilled in me really helped me not to involve myself in those bad things. This is the reason why we are unable to integrate. The reason why we cannot integrate here or be strong here is because even back home we didn't have values in the first place. Even though we say, oh, we had values, we had a good culture back home, let me tell you something, we were living in sin back home. Let me give you an example. The Daniel of Judah is the Daniel of Babylon. A country stronger than Australia. Gitwaza or Bijombo became Gitwaza of Kisangani. Those who know Kisangani,
abakobwa bajyaga ku mihanda bagahamagara ngo kuye kuko byari byemerewe ko umukobwa abanza gusiga umwana wabo akabona kurongoka. Donc wari umuco wemewe. Ntiwateretaga umukobwa babaga bapanze imirongo babategereje. Ariko Gitwaza wo mu Bijombo niwe wabaye Gitwaza w'Ikisangani.
Those who know Kisangani, women in their culture could invite. Just it was easy for boys to have sex with women because it was acceptable for women to call or attract men. But because who I am, I was in Bijombo, I remained the same. My identity in Bijombo did not change when I got to Kisangani. I remained the same. This is what happened when I was in Kisangani.
dukora orchestre kuririmba yitwaga Agape nakoranaga n'abanyekongo yaririmbaga mu migi ikomeye na za Makiso za Ville Kisangani. Igihe ndimo ndibare mu biterane bikomeye nururukaga podium ngasanga abantu bazanye abana babene bacu babyaye kuko nige babonaga babateraga inda bakagenda ngo ni ndugu yabo abana benshi ngasanga umutoto we n'uyu. Donc abasore bose benshi bagiye babyara abana nige wari wararushe gutarura abo bana.
So when I was in Kisangani, I went into a lot of trouble because I created a choir that went around preaching and singing. And whenever I finished preaching, I could see line or queue of women bringing their babies, saying that because I could see them from, they were saying that I'm the one who impregnated them because all those young people went around impregnating girls, beautiful girls, beautiful kids. They left kids around. I was a student. What I did, I gave them money to go find those people who impregnated them. ngo uriya arakijwe ni mwene wabo n'umugabo babwiraga abana bakora ngo turashaka kubona data bamwe bakabura ngo ngwino tukwereke isura ya baso isa no naba ndimo ndirimba babona abana baranyitegereza nyina yababwiye ngo nubona uriye niko se asa namanukaga hasi kuri pumpi utwana tuturokere utwana tutubowa aho twose tumbwira oncle. So all those kids who were left behind by those young people from our region who misbehaved, they came to see him all the time because they were told by their mothers that I looked like their dads. So they wanted to meet them, and some of them, I paid them tickets to go to a villa and meet their dads.
Harumo wansanza nari ncumbitse mu karumu n'abagamo arazaza n'abana batatu ngo ndaje ni wacu hano urajya hega iyo batabana n'abanyuga ndi umugore wanyu aricara nagiye gushakira ahantu muraza buca munamushaka ifaranga njya kwikopesha ahantu murangira aho ari guca inzira zose kuzagira Uvira. Abo bana baje kubacura ariko ngo bageze mu Rwanda iyo barabitaye batarabongera basubira ikisangana abana beza cyane b'abahungu.
So one day, one lady came to my room with 3 kids saying, I'm bringing these kids to you because their dad is from your tribe. And we see those kids were so beautiful, so good, and because of those kids or those young people who misbehave.
Hari n'abandi bana batashaka kujiyo base bari ariko bagashaka ngo kureba ngo icyo gindi habaga amafoto nk'uko nabote ngo barebe gusisura kuko bababwira ngo banuguye ngo babayemo niko basura y'abazungu niko ngo bafite ngo isura y'abazungu niko bakaza donc abana kundera kugira ngo
so some of the kids just wanted to see how their dad looked like or their and they told them if you see Apostle Gitwaza they doesn't look like their dad, so just wanted to see how the facial features of their dad. So the main problem is so the main issue we have is that even back home in Africa, the culture was corrupted, the values were corrupted. How can we restore or keep the culture that was corrupted in the first place when we get to Australia or to the Western countries? These are the problems. And some of you migrated through many countries before you get here. Let me tell you, your culture was further corrupted because before you came to Australia, you had to pass through many countries. Some went to Kenya, Burundi. So the culture is already corrupted, but all those cultures that have influenced you before you get to Australia.
n'uwiwanyu mushaka kubabwira umuco wa mbere mushaka kubabwira no kurya ubugari no kurya ibishimbo. Uwo ni wo muco wa mbere kugira ngo bamenye ko ari umwana wanyu agomba kurya kawunga, agomba kurya ibishimbo, agomba kunywa amata. Nivyo kandi nabo bamenyereye za giveri, abandi bamenyereye ama pizza. Aho rero deja ni ikibazo gikomeye.
So the problem is that the kids that you have were born in those countries that you passed through before you came to Australia. So what you just need to tell them is our food, our own food that we eat, that's it, because they went through many countries before they came to Australia. They have the culture from back home you want to teach them, the culture from the country you passed through, and the Australian culture. So you just need to tell them the basics of your own culture, which is food, what you eat, what you like.
Impamvu je naba narabashije kugera ku twongezo dukeya cyane nabwo sinzi duke nuko nyewe ibyo nakuye iwacu nibyo nagumanye nibyo ngifite. Donc naho naciye nahageze deja mfite ibyo nemeye muri njyewe naho benshi aha ntabyo yemeye. Mugira imyaka 4 Uganda mukava mukaja muri Kenya mukagira indi 5 muba muvuye mu Burundi mwagize indi 8. Uwo mwana afite uwuhe muco akaza noneho agatransita hano ubolongo muyaba taramenyana n'inshuti zira ngaho muragiye news quiz Iceland mwaba kuri Iceland ngaho muri Melbourne. Abo bana muragira ngo bazava mwiki kandi mukabyuka mugenda ngo umugabo navuze abandi babanje kugisha inama abana mwe ndi mugisha abona gusa ngo muzuriye tuzogenda soma ibyo tubako abantu bakina.
It is not fair for the kids from your families because you spent 5 years or 8 years in Burundi or Kenya before you came here, and when they migrated to Australia, before they settled, you decided to move to Brisbane without even consulting the kids, because normally in the Western world, you consult with your kids, you don't impose, so it's not fair for them. Is it?
My driver, come here, Dirobi. We don't have my driver.
Let me get my driver.
My driver, we don't have. Uyu ni yo ashatse ko mbera driver ndamukunda yansanze Kigali arapene yinjira muri biro yanjye ndabo uyu mwana ubashe kugera muri biro yanjye.
He's my driver. He came to Kigali and forced his way through my office.
ndakubaza ibibazo bitatu.
Let me ask you a few questions.
mbwira ahantu wakuriye.
Where do you grow up?
hano ufa ruguru wabaga hehe?
mu Karate.
yavuye mu Mikarati.
He was born in Karat.
wari ufite imyaka ingana?
How old were you?
6.
He was 6.
wabanye nande?
Mama na papa na sogokuru.
Who do you live?
mama papa sogokuru mu
My dad
Mikarati.
and mom and my grandparents in Karat.
nyuma yo mu Mikarati wagiye
After Karat, where did you move to?
mu Buganda.
He moved to Uganda.
wagize imyaka ingahe muri
How
Uganda?
many years did you spend in Uganda? 3 years.
nyuma yo mu Buganda
After Uganda,
wavuye mu
you
Uganda
moved to Australia.
sibyo?
Yes.
yavuye mu Mikarati
He moved from Mikarati
Kampala Uganda.
to Kampala, Uganda.
ya myaka 6
The 6 years he
wari
spent
kumwe nande?
in Uganda.
Isi.
He was with his grandparents. Sit down.
ibanga rikomeye
The biggest secret.
ni uko ugiye ariko komeza.
Oh,
nari ntaraguha mu bigendere sese. ibanga rikomeye
the biggest secret.
munyumve
Let me tell you the biggest secret.
mwebwe mukirimo mubyara.
Those who are still having children here.
ni imyaka 6. imyaka
6 years.
imyaka 6.
6 years.
hariya niho uzugira umwana kuboko.
You only have 6 years to influence a child or to
iyo
form a
umwana
child.
wamugize umwana
If you really train a child for 6 years,
ni umwaka wa mbere kuri.
it's from 1 year to 6 years.
iyo niyo Mose yarerewemo abona kujya kwa Farawo.
That's the time Moses was trained or looked after before he went to Pharaoh.
iyo niyo Samweli yakuzemo abona kujya kwa
That's
Hana.
the Samuel, the Apostle Samuel, Prophet Samuel spent
iriya myaka
6 years.
bajya bavuga ngo umwana wawe ngo nzamukugarurira afite imyaka 6 ari umugabo.
There's a saying that says, give me your child for 6 years and I will turn them a man.
murabona uyu driver umwana
See,
wawe
my driver,
iriya myaka 6
the 6 years
niyo yamugize uwo.
that he spent with his grandparents, he worked for him.
uwo babanye
The one he spent 6 years with,
umwana aravuga ururimi yakuriye aha ariko ndavugana nawe madame yambwiye ati ndatangaye twabona ururimi warumenye gute ngo ni sogokuru ko navuye mu myaka 6 hari.
he was able to learn the language for 6 years he spent with his grandparents
na mama
and his mom.
iriya myaka
The 6 years he spent.
abana banyu mwabagira uko bashaka muri iriya myaka 6.
If you understand this principle that you have 6 years to form your child,
iyo umwana muri iriya myaka 6 umuguze no mu yindi myaka n'umwe.
if you miss the window of the 6 years to invest in your child and influence them, you can't do it anymore.
igiti kigororwa kikiri gito n'iriya myaka.
You can only influence a child when they're still young.
Pastor Claudine
Pastor Claudine,
aba mu bazungu gusa.
she lives in a white neighborhood.
si neighborhood agace babamo ni abazungu.
In a white dominated area where she lives now.
kuko iyo corporation akoramo ni iy'abazungu.
Because the corporation she works for is dominated by white people.
abana be bonyine
Her children
n'umuryango we n'umugabo we
and her family and her husband,
nibo bonyine nibo.
they are the only African or black people in that area.
kandi bakora muri icyo kigo.
And they work for that big
abandi
corporation.
ni abazungu gusa.
They're only white people.
uzareba abana
Look at, if you look at the kids,
abana be iyo bagiye mu makonseri nibo baba ba mbere, iyo bagiye gukina nibo baba ba mbere, mu buryo abazungu baba biruka inyuma kuko yarabaterenize. wabaterenize gute mama? Just a short testimony.
so Pastor Claudine
ndavuga iriya myaka 6
was able to understand the secret or the principle of training the kids for 6 years. So her kids, whatever they do, they are successful, they're number one. So let me ask you, how she has done it. How were you able to achieve it? To share that secret with all of us. You can stand there.
Shalom, shalom. Nongeye kubasuhuza.
I go to all the name of Jesus again.
Murakoze Father ku ijambo.
Thank you, Father, for giving me this opportunity to say something.
Testimony ngiye kubaha.
The testimony I'm about to give you.
Byabaye ngenge numva yuko ari Imana yabiteguye.
I believe that God ordained it.
kuko nari muri Amerika nk'umunyeshuri
I lived in America as a student.
nkora ubukwe
I got married
noneho mpita ndatwite
and I got pregnant immediately, or shortly after.
mama yari mu Rwanda
My mom was still back home in
ashaka
Rwanda.
kuza kugira ngo afashe umwana kuko nari umunyeshuri
She wanted to come and help me because I was still a student.
duhita dusanga mama arwaye indwara izamwica
And we found that my mom was had an incurable disease.
ntiyashoboye kuza
She could not come.
noneho ndavuga nzabwiza gute
And I said to myself, how am I going to do it?
hari ukuntu usanga umuntu yararezwe ariko twebwe twafokasinga ku mashuri cyane ku buryo ibintu byo mu rugo ntabwo umuntu yabaga abizi.
So some families can maybe decide to focus on education, but they might not focus on the household duties.
ndavuga ati aba bana nzabarera uyu mwana ngiye kurya nzamurera gute.
How am I going to educate my kids by myself?
icyo nakoraga nari umusenzi yego
Yes, I was a prayer warrior.
ariko ikintu nafashe nagiye gushakisha ibitabo uko nitegura ntwite nuko nzarera abana.
I decided to educate myself once I was still pregnant, reading books about how to raise children.
uko rero nabikoze ni nkuko byari byanditse mu gitabo.
All I did is I just followed the principles I learned. I applied the principles
uko nsenga ntwite
whenever I was praying once I was pregnant
kugeza aho mbyaye.
until I gave birth.
mbyaye rero
After I gave birth,
hari igitabo nari mfite
there was a book that I had
kikwigisha ukuntu umwana akiri muto ukimubyara
that teaches you what to do as soon as you give birth to your child.
noneho nkajya mureka akigaburira wenyine
And I started to educate my child according to that
ahantu
book.
hose imyenda tukayita ariko nkagura indi.
He focused on independence, on the kids. I started to let them feed themselves, even though it was messy.
hanyuma hari n'ibindi nabakoreshaga bitaga ngo the baby can read umwana ngo ashobora gusoma.
Yes, there's another principle in the book that says that the baby can read.
ku buryo abana banjye bari bazi gusoma bafite amezi atandatu.
My kids could actually read by 6 months old.
so narabatrainze cyane ku buryo ibintu byose byari bimeze nka computer.
Everything was organized in a way that I trained them. There was a discipline, a protocol I followed to train them.
no kubrashinga hari akantu nashyiraga hano noneho wagasunika gutya turi salt irimo imaze kurangira akaba arangije kuborosa.
And I also taught them how to brush themselves and actually timed the time they would brush themselves.
igihe baryama amasaha baryamira
The sleeping patterns were also clear.
nashyiragaho alarme muri chambre zabo zikababyutsa.
And I had an alarm in that bedroom to wake them up at a particular
muri
time.
chambre yabo habaga hariho basket aho bavanamo imyenda yanduye ayishyira.
I trained them to be tidy. I had a laundry basket in their bedrooms where they would put their dirty clothes.
aho ngaho babaga bafite imyaka itatu yarangiza iyo basket akayitwara muri laundry
And they were
akamesa,
able-
akazinga akagaruka agapangira intoki.
They were able to do that at 3 years old. They would take the laundry basket once it was full back to the laundry, and they would go back to the bedroom and tidy up their closet.
nta televiziyo barebaga na rimwe televiziyo yabaga gusa muri weekend.
They were not allowed to watch television. They could only watch television on the weekends.
babiri rero umwe yakundaga guputinga ibintu together gushyiraho ibintu noneho nkajya mugurira amalego sinzi ko muyazi abantu b'abajene.
Yes, one of them were into craft, and I bought Lego for them.
bateranyaga ibintu ariko ntibarebaga televiziyo.
So instead of wasting time on television, I bought things like Lego they could put together instead of watching television.
hanze hariho basket court aho bakina basket.
And outside in our room, they had built or had a basketball court where they could play
hanze
basketball.
hariho ahantu bakinira soka
And then also there was a soccer field.
kugeza n'ubu ndacyakina soka na basket nabo.
Until now, I still play soccer and basketball with them.
so ubu ngubu uko bameze
Now that they are grown up,
ibyo nabatoje icyo gihe it has become a habit. bo barabikora mpari n'ahari.
what I taught them once they were still young has now become a habit they do it whether I'm with them or not.
nko kuwa gatatu bariye mbabwira ati turebe televiziyo ndashaka kureba movie nama
If I tell them on Wednesday that I want to watch TV with them,
bahita baseka cyane ngo mami it's Wednesday
they say, oh, mommy, we can't watch TV, it's Wednesday. We only watch TV on the weekends.
rero ndashaka kubabwira ariko birashoboka
I want to tell you that it is possible,
ariko biravuna
but it is not, it's hard work.
ikintu nshimira imana ni uko ari mama ntiyaje n'umugabo yaraturavuringaga cyane nige nabareze jyenyine ku buryo byari byoroshye gutraininga abana bari bato nta wundi muntu murwana kugira ngo mubikorane.
So my husband was traveling a lot for work, and my mom could not join me. So I was able to train them without having any other influence the way I wanted.
So ubu ngubu ni abana bateka, ni abana bakora ibintu byose mpari ntahari devoir arayikora yatayishoboye nk'ubu ngubu ndahanga ahita ambwira ati hari ikintu cyananiye tujye kuri Zoom tukikora.
So my kids can look after themselves. They are fully independent. They do their own homework. I don't need to be there. Like if I'm here, for example, they are struggling with one of their homework activities, they are able to call me to have a Zoom meeting and help them out.
Imyaka irindwi ya mbere niwe mwana wawe.
You only have your child for 7 years.
Iyindi myaka aba ari umwana w'abandi bantu.
After 7 years, you share your child with other people.
Imyaka 10 kugeza kuri 13 niho brain development igira. Ibintu wamwijije ku myaka 10 na 13 niho noneho azabuildinga ibindi.
So the brain fully start development from age 10 to 13. Whatever you tell them or you inputting them is the foundation of every other thing they're gonna learn.
Mu myaka 10 rero n'imyaka 13 nabashize mu ishuri ryashizweho n'umudamu musibo w'ikigo twakorera icyo gihe.
So when they turn from age 10 to 13, I put them in this specialized school that was created one of the CEOs of my corporation I worked for.
Kugira ngo bazarangize iyo myaka 10, 11, 12, 13 baradevelope brain yabo.
So that they may benefit from the special education, great education from that school from age 10 to age 13.
Umuto wanjye afite 13 ari mu mwaka wa nyuma wo kubuildinga brain.
My youngest child is 13. They are at the last year where they can develop their brain.
Rero nkuko Father bivuze last week,
as Father just mentioned last week,
umuhungu wanjye ari muri competition y'ibintu byo kubuildinga. Byo ndinamwigishije afite umwaka umwe, ubu afite imyaka 16. Robotics.
Yeah, my son who started just building Legos is now competing in a robotic competition.
Afite rero group ya team ye ubu ku rwego we n'umurida.
He's now a team leader in the team that go and compete in robotics, and he started when he was young.
So muri region ya North America, muri region yaho.
In the North American region,
so baratsinze this past weekend.
They were able to become number 1. Their team was number 1 in the North America division. I was in Brisbane when it happened. I was following online.
Mama is cheering you from Brisbane.
I kept saying online, go, mommy cheering you on, was in Brisbane.
Go, heaven is your limit. I'm praying for you.
And I wrote to them and said, heaven is your limit, and I'm praying for you. Hey, oh yeah.
Rero ndashima Imana yuko gusenga no gukurikiza metode z'isi zishobora kukuremera uko wowe ubyifuza.
So thank God that a prayer in combination with some other principles that we learn from books how to raise kids can really help raise kids.
Mama yaje kuva mu nyuma y'imyaka 3 hanyuma mama asigira umubyeyi wanjye nkunda cyane.
So my mom did die after 3 years, but she left me with my father that loves so much.
noneho tuvuge abatarabigize gutyo mu bana tukaba tubaha tugire gute.
So what can you do for those parents who were not able to do that?
haracyari ibyiri.
They see hope.
umva mbabwire ikintu cyiza cy'ukuri dufite kuruta ibinyoma byose mu rusengero.
Let me tell you, our biggest truth that we have is the church.
Itorero,
the church,
ibi byose bibazo dufite,
all the problems we have,
nidukora itorero riri modeli ya Bibiliya,
if we model the local church to the Bible,
ibi byose bizarara.
All those issues will be solved.
Dore ikibazo dufite.
This is the problem we have.
Turakora amatorero mu buryo bw'aho twavuye, mu mico y'aho twavuye, dukora itorero rya Bibiliya.
We are aligning the church according to our culture instead of aligning the church to the Bible as a model. I'm going to get into this is the truth of the matter. What is a church biblically?
Isn't a church?
The name church, that's not what the Bible term that is used.
Church ni imana ni ibigirwamana by'abongereza bakera ni imana z'aba Norvege kuri Scandinavia, ariko izina ry'itoro ni ecclesia.
The actual name of the church, the term used in the Bible, is ecclesia, not church, because church, its origin is from Scandinavian idols.
No muri Irish,
and Scotland,
donc ni Scottish.
That's where the origin of church.
Niyo church muri za Allemagne za, donc izina ry'ukuri mu Gifaransa niyo église, niyo église.
The real name, the French translation is close to the real name. It's called Ecclesia. Those teaching that online, you can follow them. What is ecclesia?
Ecclesia,
it was an area where people could meet because of shared interest. Number one, that it was the center of leadership. That was the center of leadership or authority. Who is the leader, who is the family leader, and so forth. Secondly,
education.
Oh, that's where they provided education. It was an education center. In the church, that's where people are supposed to be educated. The church, the third thing, the church was a center where people could learn how to do business. That's where they learned leadership.
Business.
That's where they learned business.
Education.
That's where they learned the real education.
Donc education
education.
Niho bigiraga umuryango.
That's where they learned how to run a family.
Niho bateguriraga abashampion abazakomera.
That's where they prepared champions or athletes.
Donc iyo niyo ecclesia.
That's what the ecclesia.
Yes, avuga ngo nzubaka ecclesia, yavuze ngo nzubaka church no.
When the Bible says Jesus
ni mico yaba Germanico language, indimi z'aba Germanic.
When Jesus said he built a church, he didn't mean the church from the Germanico language. He meant the church ecclesia. He will build his ecclesia.
Mundimi z'aba Germanic church,
in the Germanic language,
ariyo za kieke cyangwa se shirika,
church,
mu Kiswahili babyita shirika,
organization in Swahili.
Zijya ni Germanico language.
They are Germanical languages.
Bivuziki.
What does it mean?
Hakoraga ikintu kimwe.
Only one thing was,
hazaga umuntu w'umunyamwuka ari nk'umupfumu cyangwa se iki bagatambira imana yabo, niyo baje kwita church. Church y'ubu rero ko tuyikora rero ni ahantu gusa tuza kuririmba no gusirimba no kumva ijambo tugataha. iyo siyo church.
So the church back then, they followed like a witch doctor
Ni
who
kwa
would
kuri
come
rero kw'ikinyoma.
and lead the people into worshiping and dancing. Now we try to align the church to those Germanic sort of origin, where we come and just sing to the Lord, but we do not touch on other spheres of influence.
Kiliziya ni
So what is ecclesia?
reka nsubire mu rurimi mwumva itorero ni
What,
church ni
what is the church?
yakagombye kuba ari
What is the church supposed to be?
hano
Here.
niho twigira umuco wose.
That's what we learn about the culture, the full culture. Here in the church.
Niho twicara tukavuga niko juste kuki umwana wawe atiga hano twese tukavuga ngo ejo turagutegetse umwana adaje kwiga principal.
In the church, that's where we solve educational problem. If one of the kids is no longer going to school, we meet together and say, why is your child not going to
aha niho
school?
twicara tukavuga ngo niko serge kuki business yawe itagira.
And we talk about business problems. Why is your business not succeeding?
unabuze igishoro.
And so, oh, I don't have capital.
Tukavuga Manase serugo kana ni mumuhe igishoro aje.
And we say,
muri
and
church.
in the church we decide, we appoint some people to give him capital so that his business
Sinzi ko
can run.
munyumva.
Are you getting me?
Imisozi irindwi
The 7 spheres of influence:
uburezi,
education, business,
politike wa Mungu ya
political sphere,
byakorerwaga.
we're all run in the church.
Yesu avuze ngo nzubaka itorero.
So when Jesus said, I will build my
Ecclesia.
church, ecclesia,
Yarimo avuga donc iyo misozi yose abantu bose bagomba, ugiye muri politike agomba kugenda ari iby'umwubatsi, ugiye kubaka umuryango agomba kugenda ari iby'umwubatsi, ukeneye kwiga agomba kwiga ari iby'umwubatsi. Donc ya misozi irindwi n'iryo torero.
so Jesus, when he said, I will build my ecclesia, he actually talked about the 7 spheres of influence: family, religion, education, that should happen in the church, where people go into politics should be sent from the church. Business people should be coming from the church. And so, ecclesia.
Ariko kuko twakurikiye izina church niyo mpamvu gusa hari pasiteri n'abaririmba n'abasenga tugataha. Twakoze akantu kamwe gusa k'idini nako katuzuye tugira ngo niyo church. Ariko si yo church. Church hano twagombye kuba dufitemo parti politique wowe ihagarariye kandi ntitwivangemo kuko wowe uri umuziki. Wowe jya kuri entertainment. Ntiwivange mu bya politiki. Wowe jya n'urugero, wowe uri umubanke, wowe gucuruza, ntiwivange nawe hariya. Wowe mu rusengera tugomba kuba dufite abo bantu bose. Nibyo Yesu yavuze ngo nzubaka ibyo. Ngaruke kuri rya jambo umugabo yabajije ngo nigute Imana witutererana gute. Iradutererana kuko itorero ryabaye itorero ntirikora. Naho abapolitisiye bava, naho abakomeye bava, naho rero turi mu kinyoma cy'itorero ritari ryo.
So we
are
actually following the wrong model of the church. So the church should be a center where the 7 spheres of influence should be seen, where politicians are coming from the church, business people are coming from the church. The reason why we see that God has departed from us is because we're not following the true ecclesia that Jesus said we build, where the 7 centers of influence can be seen and operating. Let me tell you the truth.
America yubakwa.
When the United States was being built,
if
America is a powerful country now, it was built on ecclesia. The founders of the United States who wrote the Bible, they were referring to the Bible once among them were professors who had studied in big or influential they planted or started a Christian university. Harvard was initially a Christian university. Yale was a Christian university. Stanford was a Christian university. Princeton was a Christian university. Columbia University was a Christian university. These are the 5 powerful universities in America. They were planted by pastors because it's a sphere of education. The kids who were trained in those universities are the ones who became founders of America. James Madison, where some of the founders was they were from Christian universities. The first business people when Christian
uruganda rwa Colgate
Colgate was founded,
University of Colgate
was founded.
Colgate ni umuntu yari umuzamu hariya yakoraga muri factory y'isabune. Donc ahuza mu materi Colgate yari umwana umukristo akadatanga icyacumi Imana imukingura ubwenge aravuga ngo ariko uwakora umuti wamenye uko abantu barwamenye cyane Imana mu gitekerezo nuko yakoze Colgate ibindi byose bizabiza ariko niba ngo mpaya Colgate kandi mazina bigira ariko icyuzi niki ni Colgate burya bari abakristo bavuye mu rusengero ubucuruzi bukomeye bwavaga mu rusengero.
The founder of Colgate, the brand of toothpaste, was a Christian. God gave him the revelation. He was a type giver in the church, and one day God opened his eyes. Today, we talk about toothpaste as Colgate, but there are other brands, but we refer toothpaste as Colgate.
Amabanki yatangiriye.
Where did bank started?
Muri asubije 28.
In Psalms 28.
Yeah. 128.
128. What does it say? Children are arrows in the hand.
Umugabo witwa Rochidi arasoma Rochidi amaze gusoma yari afite abana batanu.
He had 5 children.
Arabohereza bakora business mu Burayi no muri Amerika nibo bashize amabanki. Ni Bibiliya.
Yeah, Rochidi was read the Bible and sent his 5 kids to start banks
itoro twarigize
in the Western world.
Nibzuya tugataha icyo si itorero rizaza amatiku amarozi ibiki kuko nta yindi activity ariko uri nacuruza uri akajya muri politike uri muzamenya ko abarozi babaho cyane impamvu amarozi ari nta kindi muri nakangirigiri c'est tout icyo si itorero.
The issues we have we have the wrong understanding of the church. Church is perceived by us as where we go and dance, and that's it. But if your church aligns itself to a place where the 7 spheres of influence are operating, you won't have time for gossip, having time for weak doctors, because you are busy building church.
Ngaruka ukibaza abana bambaje ngo se twabona umumenta gute mufite ecclesia ni mwakenera umumenta kuko aho niho bari ariko ko mutayifite nyine ko murashakisha ngo tumentoring ni muri Amerika ibaze Dallas time zone ya Dallas.
The reason why you're asking for mentorship is because you might not have the true model of the church, ecclesia. That's why you're asking for mentorship. If you had that, you wouldn't be asking for mentorship. So when I understood this principle,
nasanze itoro ritubakiye kuri modeli y'intumwa niyo mpamvu nemeye kwitwa apotre. Abantu babifata bagira ngo na amatitre ariko ntibarazi ko ari transformer.
So when I understood this spiritual principle, that's when I accepted to become an apostle.
Ntazi n'ibihanda birimo ntazi n'imisozi 7 arabuze mu bidu barimo kaya kazi na nike ngo muzangire ngo apotre na
People don't understand the reason why I became accepted to be an apostle. It's when I understood these principles, that's when I decided to be an apostle. People just want to be an apostle without understanding even the 7 spheres of influence. I'm the first in Rwanda to be appointed or anointed as an apostle. I called someone from a Jew, Ethiopian, and an American, because I knew they understood the principles of the secret. And I told them about apostolic church and they understood. Because the Jews understand. They understand those principles. In the synagogue, that's where they train their children.
Sifite umwanya kubereka statistique ababonye amaprix Nobel kwisi n'abayuda kubera baciye mu synagogue. Synagogue ni kajyo torero ariko niho bigishiriza abana, niho bigishiriza ingo, niho bigishiriza politike, niho bigishiriza abana bazakomera ni synagogue.
In the Jewish religion, they understand the meaning of their synagogue. That's where they train their kids, that's where they educate them, that's where they train them to be business people. Even the Nobel Prize winners, most of them, the majority of them are Jews. This is our problem.
Itorero twarigize ibinyamuka ntitwamenya ko politike nayo ari inyamuka ntitwamenya ko business ari inyamuka ntitwamenya ko education ari inyamuka biriya byose ni inyamuka kuko abikoramo n'abakozi b'Imana barimo barakorera abantu.
Let me tell you, we have the wrong conception of ecclesia. Well, we think all the things are spiritual, education, the politics, all of those things, they are spiritual.
Muri Yesaya
In
bavuga
Isaiah,
imyuka ingahe ya Imana.
they talk about
Irindwi.
7 spirits of God.
Sibyo?
Yes.
Umwuka wonyine witwa ngo umwuka w'imbaraga niwo ujyanye n'icaca. Indi myuka ni imyuka ya politike, gutegeka, kumenya, konseye, ibiki ya misozi irindwi yose. Umwe wonyine w'imbaraga niwo baza bavugira muri Eklezia. Imana ifite imyuka irindwi. Imana iyo uri pasiteri aha, n'undi akaba chef de quartier hariya, nawe bari pasiteri hariya ku musozi wa quartier. Umwana ukina neza umupira aba ari pasiteri, aba ari apotre ku musozi w'umupira. Ibyo nibyo tugomba kumenya. Twafashe itorero turigira inyamwuka, twibagirwa ko n'ibindi dukora byose ari iby'umwuka.
We have the wrong conception of the church. We think the church is just fully spiritual. We don't understand that the person in the community, or someone being an athlete, or someone being involved in education, they're actually a spiritual activity that they're doing. So we have the wrong conception of church. In Romans chapter 13,
ngo mugandukire abategetsi, sibyo?
he said that we should obey authority.
Uzi ijambo Paul akoreshaga kuko bavuga ikigiriki. Iyo bavuga ikigiriki ko ngo Eklezia ntibavugaga iri torero, bavugaga ahantu abagabo bateraniye bagiye gufatira ibyemezo bikomeye, niyo yitwaga Eklezia. Nuko ngo Eklezia ni ahantu nk'ubu twicaye tugomba kuba kuri icyemezo gikomeye, niyo Eklezia. Ntabwo ari aho kuririmba no gusenga no kuvuga mu ndimi tugataha, no, nubwo bizabamo, ariko ni akantu gatoya kacu. Ubundi twakarangije mitingi ngiyi muri Eklezia hadafashwe ibyemezo. Ni bangahe bana bazashingirwa, ni bande bazaja kwiga Queensland, ni abahe bana dushaka kohereza kuba ba atlete, ese bursi zavahe abana dushaka kohereza muri Harvard muri Amerika. Na ibintu byose tukaba gusa ni haleluya, ni mwijuri aheza mwijuri tugataha. No, so tunaha twigira ubuzima bw'abantu guhinga muri Eklezia.
So in the Ecclesia, that's what we learned about all the 7 spheres of influence. Even the Bible says in Romans 13, Paul says that we should be subject to governing authorities, for there's no authority except that which God has established. So we should learn all of that in the church. It's not just speaking in tongues.
Kubura ngukurikira yaravuze ngo niyo ngo udatinya cyangwa ari kubona polisi ugatinya, sibyo? Polisi si ko avuga ko umurongo.
Yes.
Ngo barya baba enforcing law bashira mu mategeko. Uzi ko yita polisi mu kigiriki diakoni, umudiyakoni. Ijambo diakoni ryari ijambo rya church, ryari ijambo ry'abapolisi hanze.
The word deacon was actually at that time in the Greek origin was relating to police people. It wasn't just used in the church.
Nukuvuga ngo nta mu rusengero twaje abapolisi bacu n'abadiyakoni.
Even the church
natandukanye abatwara spiritualishe ibintu bitari spiritual. Polisi ugahita uvuga ya uriya ni shitani, polisi ni diakoni. Niko bisobanura.
So in the church we have made everything spiritual. Deacons should be policing us, policing the church. So we have the wrong understanding. I think you understand everything. The church not being aligned to the biblical model is the root of all the issues. We in the Western world have got we are blessed indeed because we understand the church. You understand or believe in the church, you just need someone training you how you should build ecclesia according to the Bible. When I talk when I start to teach about the principles of ecclesia, there are certain things that touch on how people dress themselves. There's so many aspects I have to touch on. People, when I do that, think that I'm saying wrong things. When you go in front of a powerful person on authority, you have to be smartly dressed, smartly comb your hair. You look smart. So when we come to church, we come in front of God's authority. Why are we not focusing on that? The wrong way. This is what we talk about the culture of ecclesia.
kandi Imana ntibakondane kuko icyo abantu benshi bemeye bigeza aho Imana ikabitorera.
Because people have believed the lies, and at some point, God just let it happen because the majority of people believe the lies.
Apotre ni
Who is an apostle?
atandukanye na pasiteri.
He's different to a pastor.
Pasiteri ashinzwe intama,
The pastor is in charge of the flock,
ariko apotre we
but apostle,
ashobora kuba pasiteri w'umupolitisi, ashobora kuba pasiteri w'umukinnyi w'umupira, ashobora kuba
It can be,
pasiteri
an
w'umuatlete. Ngaruke kuri wa mwana wabajije ngo nigeze kuvuga ku bakobwa bafite ubwiza mu minembwe ko twe tutabigira ibyo bintu bahita bunama gutya. Naravuga mufite abakobwa beza, kuki batajya muri defile nka ba Esther?
we have
Uza amafaranga mwabona umwana wawe ubwiza yagiye hariya, ariko benshi mwabica kuko itorero ntiryabyemeye.
so
Kubera itorero ntibwagurishaga zahabu, mwari muzi ko zahabu ari icyaha, sibyo?
Yeah.
Iyo ni caca. So abandi abashi bakaza bagakira bakimba ori wanyu mwe ngo biriya ni bipagani, ariko iyo abafite ifaranga ukaja kuzimukaba mu ijoro.
So there's so many things that we have believed that the truth, but that they are actually lies because we don't understand what is the meaning of ecclesia.
Hari igihe kimwe i Roma kera
Let me give you another example. In the Roman Empire,
hari umuamperere bitaga Vespasian.
there was an emperor who was called Vespasian Emperor.
Yari afite umuhungu bita Tito.
One of his sons was called Tito.
Ni nawe waseye Yerusalemu.
He's the one who destroyed Jerusalem.
Vespasian yageze igihe
Vespasian, at some point,
kubera imisoro ye,
because of his
taxes,
he was gathering,
atangira guca imisoro mu mbabare ko gukoresha terme y'impa. Umuntu ugiye kwihagarika akamuca umusoro.
He was raising tax to the point people were going to the toilet, had to tax they were taxed, just go to the toilet. He was that bad.
Gutaxa umusoro wo kwihagarika.
People were just going to the toilet were taxed before they were going to the toilet.
Noneho umuhungu abwira se ariko papa wasabye imisoro myinshi nawe.
And his son said, we are raising too much taxes.
Umusoro wo kwihagarika papa.
Really? People to pay tax to go to the toilet?
Saramuga ati ntacyo.
It's okay.
Okay, aramuga ati mwana wa ndagushaka.
And he called his son and said, come here.
Azanye igiceri.
He brought a coin.
Agishyize ku zuru.
He put on top of his nose.
Ngwihumurize mwana.
Smelled the coin.
Arihumurije.
He smelled the coin.
Ati surumva hari irahumura. Kirahumura.
How does the coin smell?
It
doesn't have any smell or odor.
Kiva hahandi rero bagiye kwihagarika.
The coin that is odorless is from the toilet tax. That should say. You have an issue now. You don't have an issue with the coin from collection from the toilet. Don't worry about the origin of the money, because when you have money, you don't care where it's from.
Donc zahabu kera bavuga ngo niza abapagani, ariko twarangiza kuko babashi bamaze kuzimba tukaja kubakaba amafaranga ngo wadukabye ifaranga. Iyi zahabu ningaho mushiyo base ifaranga n'icyaha kazishira ku zuru ryawe.
Back home we're told that digging gold was sinful, but some tribes back home were digging gold and we could go to borrow money from them.
Ariko reka mbabwire badatabazanye ubutumwa.
When our fathers brought the gospel to our region,
niko kuri bamenye kuko nibwo abazungu babahaye kandi byari muri system ya colonization kutababwiza ukuri kuzuye.
So the reason why our fathers taught us that gold or digging gold was sinful, because we were taught by the white missionaries, so that they didn't want to tell them the truth.
Papa yarambwiye ngo umunsi yavuye mu Turambo.
My father told me when he left Turambo, after a conference that was prepared by organized by Mungura in 1950. He came all the way from Dondo, and he came.
farms.
Yeah. He met young people in different farms along the way.
Donc bagenda bihana.
He was preaching, they were repenting.
Arambwira ngo iryo joro ngo twatwitse ngo bimwe bambaraga.
We burnt so many amulets.
Ingoro no ivory.
Oh, ivory, yeah.
Ndetse n'inigi. Inigi ni pearl.
So we burnt so many pearls that they were wearing.
Turatwika amajoro yose nkava ku
So we burned them and destroyed them.
ndamubaza tukava mwabitwikiye.
And I said, Dad, why did you burn all those pearls?
Abamisiyoneri batubwiye ko ari icyaha.
Because the missionaries told us it was a sin.
Ariya mahembe y'inzovu.
The elephant horns.
Batata batagiraga na basogokuruza banke uyu munsi iyo batabitwika nibyo biba bidutunze.
If they had kept the elephant horns, because they are very valuable, today would have survived or lived from the profits of the selling of those elephant horns. The pearls they were wearing, they were made out of a diamond stone. They were very valuable. So the pearls they were wearing were actually made out of diamonds. The white people had the fake ones, which were just pearls. The taxi,
how would you? Ni igisoro mu cyongereza igisoro mu cyita ni bande bana bakuriye. Do you know how the chess igisoro cy'abatsogokuruza.
Our traditional chess they used to play.
Bakoreshaga amabiye aya n'abazungu bayanzanye kugira ngo babarangaze bakoreshaga mu buye ya diyama. Ikiro kingana gutya kimwe gishobora diyama imwe kara yayo imwe ishobora kugurisha miliyoni 5 z'amadolari.
They were using diamond stones without knowing their value. Nowadays, those stones can be valued up to $5 million. The wrong teaching is the cause of the issue.
narabirwaniriye cyane naratutswe niyo mpamvu mbona ku masocial media abantu ko ndarwana n'ibintu bitaba muri tekerezo by'abantu ko ndarwana n'ibyo bishizemo ibinyoma by'igihe kirekire kuko nasomye Bibiliya nyumva mu buryo butangaje. So ntabwo ari doktora yatumye menya ibi no baje kunshaka ngo bampe doktora kuko nigishije. The reason why professor muri Canada mu Buhindi baranshaka ngo no ukeneye gukora doktora ukeneye guhabwa doktora muri ministry sibyo banyigije nibyo narizi yego narabyize biriya gusa kugira ngo mbone igipapuro ariko ntacyo byanyongereye kuko ngiyo ndisita nawe barambira ngo wabicecetse. The reason bazukuri abohereye missionnaire imbere n'abakolonije ibihugu byacu bari bazukuri kuko niyo mpamvu bahinduye izina bagita church gusa n'ahantu spirituel honyine ariko Yesu yasize ecclesia.
So the reason why I'm very passionate about it is because I have that revelation and understanding of what ecclesia is. That's why I'm being persecuted. People are going after me because I'm very passionate. I want people to change their mindset. I didn't learn this from my doctorate. People actually wanted to give me a doctor of ministry just because of my teachings, because I'm very passionate about it. I'm part of a member of a network of apostles. We have some in Australia, some apostles in Australia.
Umukuru wacu witwa Keri yaravuze ngo nguyu muntu uzuvuga ibintu akora kandi by'ukuri bizi kuko nyine ndabivuga ibintu byose baratangana kuko Bibiliya ni Imana yakuhaye Imana ni kuranye ugahaga iyo musoma Bibiliya ndimuhage si Bibiliya.
Hallelujah.
Bibiliya ni ibiryo bigomba kudufatisha abapolitisiye bacu abacuruzi bacu. Bibiliya ni igitabo kigomba gufasha abasirikare bacu. Bibiliya ni igitabo kigomba gufasha abantu bacu bari mu mashuri. Iyo Bibiliya ifasha abapasiteri gusa si Bibiliya nifasha umuntu wese mu mwuga arimo iyo niyo misozi Imana ishimwe.
So I'm part of the council of apostles all over the world. That's why I'm able to teach and in the Council of Apostles, I have a say. Even Kelly, the leader of the Council of Apostles, whenever I talk, he asks me, he said, this apostle, he actually lives his teaching. He actually lives what he teaches. That's why I am very passionate about it. When I call them to come to Kigali to see how the 7 spheres operate, whenever I have a conference, in the morning, they go to teach at university. And others go to business centers. And others are sent there to At night, then we meet in the conference to talk about what we've done in the 7 areas of spheres of influence. I am sorry that I took a long time to explain all of this.
birambabaza cyane iyo ibintu umuntu afite udashobora kubivuga kandi noneho sinibyo ndabivuga bigasigara.
I actually need a whole month to give you all the teachings that I need. But I'm sorry.
birashoboka ko ngenzagenda ariko gihe abantu bazatangira gukanguka ariko mwagakangutse nanjye mpari kabibona.
Unfortunately, people don't understand it. That's the problem. I wish people could understand the teachings why I'm still alive.
Ntibishoboka.
It's not possible.
Kubera ko abantu bafite impano nyinshi ariko babuze badashira bose bitwa barevera.
Because people have different talents.
Urevera muri business, urevera muri development. Ariko kugira ngo wemere bose babaye pasiteri no. Ndashaka tubwire ibibazo mu matorero. Ese mwese muzaba bayoboye gusa cace. Kuki utayobora umupira hari? Kuki utayobora restaurant hari? Kuki utayobora ibi? Byose ni ugukorera Imana.
That's why people always have different talents and gifts. They all congregate to the church. Why can't you be a leader in the education sphere, in the business sphere, in the entertainment sphere? You all come to church, but you should all be leaders in all the 7 spheres of influence.
No.
A businessman can be a servant of God in the sphere of business.
For example, Kaka,
Kaka is one of the famous footballers.
Kaka,
he's a Christian, a born-again Christian. One day after scoring a goal, he opened his jersey and there was a t-shirt that showed a live TV. He became an apostle in the sphere of athleticism. By showing the t-shirt saying Jesus loves you, millions of people were preached by him. Those pageant competition. Women are beautiful, but they can't even go to the pageant competition. Women should be so our women
iriya misatsi ya rasta kandi muri abana beza no gutobora amatwi biriya sibyo. Abarasta batangiye byari batangiye ari abarakare. Ikindi cyo mutazi rasta yatangijwe nani? Rasta en fait biriya byatangijwe n'abarakare bo muri Jamaica. Abenshi bari bavuye muri Congo. Muri ya Congo niyo hamwe n'abagabone bashiramo vodu niho rasta ikomoka. Nabonye abantu barimo badisita benshi mu bya rasta ngo simbizi ndayizi cyane mu buryo nzi ivuka ryayo ndayizi cyane.
I saw some people debating on what I thought about Rastafarism. I understand its origin, where it came from. Some origin are from Congo, and that's from Gabon. Marcus Garvey. The founders of the Rastafari movement. And Rodney started to write about it. Bob Marley revived Rastafari by his story song.
kugira ngo ubashe kujya mu mwuka wagombaga kunywa kanabisi. Ni ukuvuga ngo umurasta agomba kujya mu yindi si, donc aribyo bita Babylon. So ndayizi cyane n'abayirimo ndayizi cyane.
The reason why Rastas
smoke
cannabis or marijuana, the origin is from Congo a long time ago when they were also worshipping idols. They had to smoke cannabis to go into trance and worship their idols. That's why it's involved in Rastafarism. When they missed where they came from as slaves,
so mu buryo bamwita ngo niwe Yesu. Ngo abarastafara Yesu wabusuyu wacu ni Haile Selassie uriye muri Ethiopia wapfuye. So donc ni gute mwakwambara
Rastafarism is a fourth religion. They are Jesus the Messiah is Haile Selassie from Ethiopia, so they don't have the same Jesus, the same Messiah as us. So the fourth religion, they call him the Lion of Judah. Haile Selassie, not Jesus, our own Jesus. So why did they start to have dreadlocks? No. They didn't read it from the Bible.
Abaprisonniers barimo batabasha gusokoza imisatsi y'abanye nyinshi, aho niho baje kudevelopa rero gukuza imisatsi yabo. Muri kwa gukuza imisatsi bashaka ikibadefanda, baravuga ngo n'abanaziri bagiraga imisatsi ariko ntibayishiragamo amadrede.
The reason why the Rastafari religion have dreadlocks.
Ubundi dini rya
Rastafarism
ryarabirabura bashaka kwikukira ngo bave kujya abazungu. Ariko sibwo uburyo tuzikukira. Uburyo tuzikukira tuzasoma Bibiliya.
We are going to be delivered by reading the Bible, so that we know that the church is made of 7 spheres of influence. After this, I pray for 66 pastors at the
marketplace.
Some of them are called the pastors. Most of our pastors work in the banks. They're not supposed to be preaching at the altar. Only the senior pastor can preach here. No one else can preach, because that's how the Bible says. Unless I give you the book to preach. Because you can't have two people can't have leaders in the church. You cannot have two leaders in the church. You have the They are building churches, they are not building ecclesia according to the Bible. That's why we have so many churches.
No.
Anyone who is unhappy, they start a church. You can be an apostle, but an apostle in the sphere of business, development. You can be an apostle in organizing competition, young people sports competition. Because we all want to be leaders in the church. That's why the church is full of pastors or leaders instead of many Christians. You can't have two bulls. You cannot have two bulls in the stable. Otherwise, what do you want to have two leaders in the church? It's impossible. It's impossible. You cannot have two bulls in the stable. Even those young bulls could not approach the older bulls in the stable. I'm sorry, I have a chance to tell you the truth. The reason why we have division in the church.
ngo banze gukomba pasiteri mwana wabibona ibibo barabisobanukiwe.
So the white people churches, they never have divisions of fighting because they always have a good organizational structure where there's a board and a pastor, and each pastor that is in charge of departments in the church, the youth, the choir, and so forth. That's why they never fight, because they understand ecclesia.
Nakuze mbona Reverend Noah ariwe pasiteri wawe.
Grew up seeing Reverend Noah as our pastor in our local church back home.
Papa,
my dad,
niwe watangije paruwasi ya Bijombo.
He launched or planted the Bijombo parish.
Ariko Noah,
but Noah,
yari yarize Bibiliya.
He went to Bible college.
Yari umuhanga.
He was educated.
Ari umuprofeseri kuri Bibiliya.
He was a professor in theology.
Ashaka kujya no muri Sweden.
He wanted even at some point to go to Sweden to study.
Igihe ba data basabye ngo natwe mu Bibiliya tukire amaparuwasi.
And when our dad wanted, people wanted to become independent, to have our own churches, they agreed. My dad actually asked Reverend Noah to become the pastor. My dad sat in the pews. My dad sat in the pews. He planted the Bijombo parish, but he sat in the pews. Who was leading him? No, Reverend Bijombo. Noah led him. He always asked advice from Reverend Noah. Why? He understood the spiritual authority. That is only a pastor, one senior pastor. My dad was called the teacher in the church.
Igihe Reverend Noah yamushyira kuri gahunda papa kararasenga ategura icyo akazigisha yarangiza.
My dad could only preach when he was asked by Reverend Noah to preach, so my dad would spend
mu matorero.
Where his dad had servanthood or servant leader.
Abo nibo bari bazi icyo bita itorero.
So those people understood what is the church.
Ariko nabo ntibamenye indi misozi yindi.
But they did not understand the seven.
Ubu rero twebwe tuzi indi misozi.
We understand the seven spheres of influence.
Ariko itorero naryo twaragisha.
But we don't understand how to run the church.
Itorero risigaye ry'abantu.
The church now belongs to people. Your cousins, your family members. No, that's how it should be. The church is a center of influence. A center of influence. People can learn about God. Please understand that this is the root of the issues. The root of the issues is the wrong understanding of ecclesia. But the question about Ukraine and Russia, I've already responded to that, so I'm not going back to that.
Umuryango wa Framaso bita ngo Lenine Framaso imirwana na Grande Lodge y'Ubwongereza.
The Lenin Freemason Lodge is fighting against the Grand Lodge of London.
Ubwongereza. Ariyo iyoboye ikindi gice cy'isi.
Which leads another part of the world. They are the ones fighting, and that's the underlying.
Icyicaro cyawe gikurikira St. Petersburg, donc muri Russia.
The Lenin Lodge, Freemason Lodge, is based in St. Petersburg.
Cyari cyarakunze kuko iy'Abongereza ari akidomi ubashatse kugarukana. En fait,
the fight is between the two Freemason lodges. Whatever we see on mainstream media is not the real issue. The real issue is the two Freemason lodges fighting each other. The USA has neutralized the weapons of Russia. All of them. The telecommunication system of the whole world. Their the root number is held by Americans.
Iyindi mibare yose yiyongera niyo mpamvu uzubona iyo mutangira code area American 01.
That's why whenever you
start hano muri code 61
American
kuri 1 2 3 4 5 inostre muri abagatanga twebwe mu Rwanda turi 250 mu Burundi magana abiri mirongo itanu na karindwi,
American country
muri
code is
Uganda magana abiri
01.
mirongo itanu na gatanu,
All
muri
the
Kenya
other
magana abiri
countries,
mirongo itanu na kane,
Australia 61,
Urabyumva?
Burundi
mu Bufaransa ni mirongo
257.
itatu na rimwe,
The country code of France is 31.
Hollande mirongo itanu na gatanu,
Holland is
mu Bubiligi
36.
mirongo itatu na kabiri,
The country code of Belgium is 33.
Australia kamene sava muri ba gatandatu,
61.
Uburusiya ni Kongo, niba ufite nimero y'Uburusiya ndagira ni mirongo
Russia, I don't know the country code of Russia.
nyakanga abafite aho byose bikomoka n'abanyamerika no
The American
iyo ufite
country
technology
code
control
01.
byose ariko ntibabishaka kubera yama linke y'abamasomo.
There's some other concepts that are, linked to all of those things that I won't be able to go through.
Reka ndikera tu mwana ibi bose umuntu yadapfara birangije